Presidential politics. Shake up in Republican Village. New candidates in, old candidates out, losing candidates winning, crazy candidates sane. And it all happened here. Ames, Iowa, founded in 1632 by Willie Ames. Yes. Once again, Ames, Iowa in the spotlight as the results of the 2011 Iowa straw poll are in.
With 16,892 Iowans voting, the winner of the 2011 Iowa straw poll is Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann.
Whoa, there you go! I see we have a lot of Pawlenty supporters in the audience this evening. Bachmann wins! The ayes, or shall I say, the crazy eyes have it. Michelle Bachmann's 4,823 votes, narrowly clipping Ron Paul with 4,671. No one else even close. Exciting victory. And looking for someone to throw cold water on it in 3, 2, boom! Former George Bush strategist Matthew Dowd.
Ames has never had a history of picking winners, but they've definitely had a history of picking losers.
And they picked you, Michelle Bachmann of Minnesota. So you won. Loser. But what of the actual losers of the poll? They must be celebrating their not winning.
We needed to get some lift to continue on and to have a pathway forward. That didn't happen, so I'm announcing this morning on your show that I'm going to be ending my campaign for president.
Here's the problem with that guy in Iowa. Anytime he's around, you cannot operate heavy farm machinery. Sir, stop talking. I have to work my crops. So the Republicans move into the fall with Michelle Bachmann, the big story. What was that? That laugh so familiar, so regional. I can't place it. It can't be. He's not eligible to run again.
I declare to you today as a candidate for President of the United States.
Sometimes it kind of takes me a while to get into something like this presidential race, but let me tell you, when I'm in all the way.
Why would the Josh Brolin character from W be running for What? That's a real guy? No. I interviewed him? Oh. 3-term Texas governor. Well, I'm sure I'm overreacting. 2 Texas governors who sort of sound alike. How similar could they be?
They're 2 guys from West Texas.
Same kind of ideology, same Texas boots.
Both have ranches.
Similar mannerisms.
Some of that West Texas swagger.
Former Air Force pilot and father of 2.
Met his wife in elementary school.
Rick Perry holds a day of prayer.
He carries a pistol with him, laser-fired pistol. He is George Bush on steroids.
No, he's not. He's not George Bush on steroids. Rick Perry is what happens if Lex Luthor distilled down George Bush essence in a laboratory and crossed it with gunpowder and semen from the finest thoroughbred in Lubbock, and then strapped that concoction onto a nuclear missile and shot it into the sun, and then waited until one day on the anniversary of the Alamo. A solar flare, yada, 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 Rick Perry! How do I know that this creature is George Bush plus plus? Oh, I'll tell you how I know.
He's a man of trust in his family. His father-in-law actually did his vasectomy.
And may I remind you, his father-in-law is not a doctor. Just one of these. Hold still, Rick. Which one you want vasectomied first? So now with Pawlenty dropping out, Rick Perry dropping in, and Michelle Bachmann and Ron Paul dominating the Ames straw poll, we got ourselves a race.
We have a top tier. It is Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, and Michelle Bachmann.
We have a new top tier, and it's Perry, Mitt Romney, and Bachmann.
There's now a top tier in this race, at least for now, of Romney, Perry, and Bachmann.
I mean, I think that's fair to say.
Really fair to say? You're not forgetting, I don't know, anyone, say an ideologically consistent 12-term congressman who came within less than 200 votes of winning the straw poll? Isn't anyone going to give that gentleman a little love?
There's a top tier now of Bachmann and Perry and Romney, and, you know, we haven't mentioned, and we should.
Thank you.
We haven't mentioned, and we should, Rick Santorum, who did really surprisingly well for the amount of money and resources he had.
Rick Santorum? He didn't get half of what Ron Paul got. He lost to the guy who lost so bad he dropped out of the race. Santorum?
We're looking at Mitt Romney, who continues to be the front runner, but we have Rick Perry as well, and now Michelle Bachmann. Let's not count out Jon Huntsman, though.
What? Jon Huntsman? Huntsman got 69 votes. If all of Jon Huntsman's supporters met at the same Ames, Iowa Quiznos, the fire marshal would say, yeah, that's fine, no problem. There's still some tables open in the back. Huntsman was the only Mormon running in the straw poll, and he came in second amongst Mormons. And by the way, this pretending Ron Paul doesn't exist for some reason has been going on for weeks.
A new Gallup survey showing Rick Perry running second to Mitt Romney, knocking down Iowa favorite Michelle Bachmann to fourth.
Behind who? Fourth behind who? How did libertarian Ron Paul become the 13th floor in a hotel? Why? What's wrong with... He is Tea Party patient zero. All that small government grassroots business, he planted that grass. These other folks, they're just moral majorities in a tri-cornered hat. Ron Paul's the real deal, and Fox News should love this guy. But watch the disconnect between the debate moderators at Fox's Thursday debate and the debate audience.
Iran does not have an air force that can come here, just like we did in Iraq. Build up the war propaganda. There was no Al-Qaeda in Iraq, and they had nuclear weapons, and we had to go in. I'm sure you supported that war as well. Yeah. Okay. It's time we quit this. It's time. It's trillions of dollars we're spending on these wars.
What's with the smirk and the eye roll? The crowd goes nuts and you do one of these. There goes crazy Uncle Ron, babbling about the unsustainability of multiple wars. He's the one guy in the field, agree with him or don't agree with him, who doesn't go out of his way to regurgitate talking points or change what he believes to fit the audience he's in front of. And you're treating him like if this were Celebrity Apprentice, he'd be this guy. By the way, at the Ames, Iowa straw poll, Busey beat Huntsman 77-69. And even when the media does remember Ron Paul, it's only to reassure themselves how there's no need to remember Ron Paul.
Right now, live, right next to the bus behind us, Ron Paul is speaking. And 7 of the candidates are here today. We have live pictures of Ron Paul, but you know what? We're talking about Sarah Palin, we're talking about Rick Perry, the two people not in the race yet, Drew.
And guess what, Paul? If you get video of Sarah Palin or get a soundbite from her, bring that back to us. You can hold the Ron Paul stuff.
Right? I mean, that guy, right? We'll be right back.